What's up? Let's go ahead and plug this in so we make it official. Let's go. Boom, we live. Yep, let's do it. All right, what's up? What's up? Hey guys, this is Leon, Real Estate Lunchbox. I appreciate you guys taking the time to jump on here and check me out. Anybody jumps in here while we're going through this, I'm gonna go through this. Yeah, I'm enjoying myself. All right, so it's gonna be a snowy weekend in Atlanta, and it's anything that you could think about that's trying to make things go wrong is trying to make things go wrong. Me today, but I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. Real Estate Lunchbox, where we talk about news, we talk about the culture, we talk about business, we talk about finance, we talk about all these different things that everybody's talking about or they want to know it. And I'm going to give you my perspective on it. Why is that important? I'm an 18-year real estate investor, agent, broker, 18 years married, well, 19 years married, 20 this year. And I just give my advice on it. I'm sitting at home today and I'm doing, look, you see, I'm in my poncho. I'm in the office, watching some YouTube, and talking and chatting back and forth with my wife, working on some real estate deals, talking to some companies I potentially want to join. Got a lot of good things that I'm working on right now. Just a lot of great things. I'm thankful to God that I'm actually here on this Friday to be able to get this to you. And when I get done with this, I'm going to go find out what the hell is going on with this damn Land Rover. Oh, no. Because if you got a Land Rover, guys, I'm going to tell you, Land Rovers, Discoveries, those things are work, bro. Those things are work. I kind of am sad that I even landed up with this Land Rover, but I did end up with the Land Rover, and I'll never do it again. Never do it again. It's not that it's expensive, even though it is expensive. It's the fact that it's just consistently something that's popping and going on. So I vow never to buy another Land Rover or Discovery or Range Rover, any of those things, and I would advise you not to, not to at all.
Congratulations, well done.
If you avoided that trap, good for you. Good for you. All right. So, a lot of things took place since Wednesday when I last live streamed. We're on the cusp right now in Atlanta. We're like right there on a break where we're about to go into this winter storm. And when the weather's nice outside, then definitely you got to scratch your head. Something's about to happen, especially in January. So where are we? I'm sitting back yesterday and I saw what happened with Trump at the World Economic Forum. Man, I tell you, Donald Trump, I don't know how he's going to pull it off. Even though he signed the ban for institutional investors, I don't know how he's going to actually pull off restricting institutional investors from purchasing. Congress is actually going to get involved. I know that I think they have to get involved in it. But he did sign the bill. BlackRock, one of his biggest contributors, they're affected by it. And I think it's going to go downhill. And nothing may come of it. Because you got to realize this is the same campaign promise that Kamala was given. She promised that she would actually come in and be able to provide affordable housing, recognizing that's an issue, lower inventory, and then also higher prices, which you can't affect that. If you reduce the inventory, yeah, you're going to have an appreciation, but you can't increase the inventory and think that the values will still stay the same. Real estate doesn't work like that. But what do I know? I'm just a guy in his studio, in his poncho, with some real estate experience telling you this. Yeah. And when I'm done with this, I will go, and we're going to put some offers in on some deals. Because one thing I can be sure of is that even though he said it, institutional investors are going to be banned, and he's trying to ban them, is that something that's actually going to come about? Like, are we actually going to see it? Personally, I don't believe so. I mean, I think it's a good thing to actually talk about and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. But I don't think it's possible. I think you're now going from a place where we're dealing with capitalism to whatever else of a beast that this is becoming. You got to put some restrictions in the market. I do understand, because as long as the people and the businesses are moving fast through technology, through looking at the best places to park money, statistically AI can tell them where the best places to and give you an appreciation plan. As long as stuff like that is going on, we're always going to have it where people who are trying to build wealth will have to jump through the hurdle of competing with large institutions. Now, there's so many ways to get over that and to get through that. But what do I know? So, hey, if you're just joining onto this, it's your first time, please like, subscribe, follow for more content, because I definitely want to share with you everything on my perspective of this situation. So while we're in this too, I'm getting text messages, I'm getting calls, so you're going to bear with me. But let's play this, man. Donald Trump Economic Forum. Let's go ahead and run this real quick.
$2,000, $3,000, and even $5,000 and more. Home ownership has always been a symbol of health and vigor of American society, but that goal fell out of reach for millions and millions of people in the Biden era because interest rates went up so high. Today, I'm taking action to bring back this bedrock of the American dream. In recent years, Wall Street giants and institutional investment firms, many of you are here, many of you are good friends of mine, many of you are supporters. Sorry to do this to you, I'm so sorry. But you've driven up housing prices by purchasing hundreds of thousands of single-family homes, and it's been a great investment for them. Often as much as 10% of houses on the market. You know.
So I only can speak to you from the perspective of a real estate investor / agent, somebody working in that investing space, talking to investors, trying to find deals for investors. Institutional investors probably of the people who make up like the we buy houses type of deal are probably I would say that's probably 10%, probably 15% if that's it. But they do buy a lot. So in Georgia, specifically in Metro Atlanta, we're talking about 10%. We're talking about somewhere around 20 to about 30% of the houses that are in acquisition mode, meaning you're purchasing those houses that are being bought over the course of that year. Probably about 20% of those houses, that was the last number, are institutional investors. Now, there was also another statistic that said about 30% of the houses on the market for rent were owned by institutional investors also. So how does that work out? A lot of these guys end up buying institutional investors, pooled money, traded on Wall Street. Think of BlackRock, companies like that. They have that liquidity, so they go into the market and they buy it on the back end. They don't necessarily go knocking on your door. They'll buy it from either someone that another company that all their job is to do is to market and to find those type of deals. They will sell it to them on the back end. Their goal in that particular situation is not to hold on to the property, but to turn around and to get it into the hands of an end buyer. Okay, so BlackRock has been an end buyer. You got a bunch of them in Atlanta. Invitational Homes probably was one of the biggest buyers, and they end up becoming one of the biggest renters. So they have some of the most rentals on the market, Invitational Homes. So when I hear him say this, I think the concept is a great concept, but can it be executed upon? I don't know. I don't think so.
The crazy thing is a person can't get depreciation on a house, but when a corporation buys it, they get depreciation. Okay, that's something we're going to have to think about too. I don't know if too many people think about that. You buy a corporation, they buy 500 houses, they buy hundreds of thousands, they buy 500 houses, they can take depreciation.
And keep in mind that they're an LLC, so that LLC also has certain things that it can write off and take that the average owner can't do it. And he's right. He's right. Most owners see appreciation on their house, and that is what makes up them growing their wealth on their property.
A person sweats and works and buys one house they can't. But homes are built for people, not for corporations, and America will not become a nation of renters. We're not going to do that. That's why I have signed an executive order banning large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. It's just not fair to the public. They're not able to buy a house. And I'm calling on Congress to pass that ban into permanent law, and I think they will. One of the biggest barriers to saving for a down payment has been surging credit card debt.
Now, keep in mind, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but most of it that maintain to this topic, if the Democrats don't vote this, or they don't vote on this, or allow this to happen, then we truly know who they're for. We truly do know. Of course, there's going to be some discussion on if it's constitutional or not. It's a lot of angles that this can come out. My personal opinion also is that you're dealing with corporations like BlackRock, man. If you're going to take away their acquisition of land, okay, I think there's going to be hell to pay and a price to pay. So him doing this in his second year, I'm wondering how long it will take for them to actually put this into motion. So don't get excited all of a sudden like, man, there's going to be a bunch of deals. But yeah, there will be some deals. There will be some properties.
The profit margin for credit card companies now exceeds 50%, one of the biggest. And they charge Americans interest rates of 28%, 30%, 31%, 32%. Whatever happened to usury? So to help our citizens recover from the Biden disaster, all caused by this horrible president, just horrible president, I'm asking Congress to cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year. And this will help millions of Americans save for a home. They have no idea they're paying 28%. They go out there a little late in their payment and they end up losing their house. It's terrible. To unleash innovation in savings and financing, I'm also working to ensure America remains the crypto capital of the world. And to that end, last year I signed the landmark Genius Act into law. Now Congress is working very hard on crypto market structure legislation.
So just to bring you up to speed, if you don't know anything about this crypto market setup, there's also a push to be able to purchase property using cryptocurrency, stable coins, or things like Bitcoin. But it is not just stopping there. The transactions that we normally do that's logged on paper or done paperless, where they call it paperless, there is a push to also put those transactions on blockchain. I don't know if you've seen it before, but there's been a lot of reports about people losing their homes to people that literally get the property assigned to them. Like they go in and file a quitclaim deed down at the local municipality, and when they file it, they mess up the chain of title. When you put in the blockchain aspect, it makes it harder for someone to actually try to steal the title for your home. So this push of Trump to actually bring in blockchain, to bring in cryptocurrency, it has to be done. And if it's not done by us, China's already doing it. And that's pushing us further and further behind and competing with them. And I keep saying, if we don't speed up and compete with China aggressively, not sell out to China like we've been doing for years, but compete with China, then we'll be in a situation where Chinese nationals are not just buying real estate in America, but they're ahead of us as far as in wealth creation and owning real estate and properties throughout the whole world. Because China doesn't just focus on buying in China, man. They focus on buying in Africa, in the UK, in the Baltic, South America, anywhere where they can spread their money on. So we have to be competitive with China. We have to keep up with them, and going to a blockchain method to track your property transactions, all of those things, that's normal, and it needs to be done.
Inflation, Bitcoin, all of them, which I hope to sign very soon, unlocking new pathways for Americans to reach financial freedom. And I did it for two reasons. Number one, I thought it was politically good, and it was. I got tremendous political support. But more importantly, China wanted that market too. It's just like they want the AI. And we've got that market, I think, pretty well locked up. If I didn't do it,
See, and I haven't even watched this. This is the first time I'm watching it. I'm watching it with you. China truly does want it, and they're going to beat us in the AI rush too if we don't put some gas on the pedal.
Biden was totally against it until before the election, when they realized that, you know, there were millions of people voting against him over crypto. And all of a sudden they loved it very much, but it was too late. They blew it. But it is politically popular, but it's much more importantly, we have to make it so that China doesn't get the hold of it. And once they have that hold, we're not going to be able to get it back. So I'm honored to have done it. Finally, I've instructed government-backed institutions to purchase up to $200 billion in mortgage bonds to bring down interest rates. And I'll be announcing a new Fed chairman in the not-too-distant future. I think he'll do a very good job. So they gave away some of it. He did give that away. So we have something, got something, but somebody that's very respected. They're all respected. They're all great. Everyone that I interviewed is great. Everyone could do, I think, a fantastic job. Problem is they change once they get the job. They do. You know, they're saying everything I want to hear, and then they get the job. They're locked in for 6 years. They get the job, and all of a sudden, let's raise rates a little bit. I call them, sir, we'd rather not talk about this. It's amazing how people change once they have the job. It's too bad. Sort of disloyalty, but they got to do what they think is right. We have a terrible chairman right now.
Now we getting into Trump. He's just going to say what he's got to say, unrestricted, no pushback. Really don't care what you think about it. But Trump hasn't been too far off, even though people don't really like what he has to say a lot of times. He hasn't been too far off. I keep saying, just like Winston Churchill was the savior for England during World War II, we're at that place right now where we do need a shift in thinking. Okay, and it is challenging for people to actually shift over to this type of thinking. The thinking that we have to adjust and be competitive, we have to be creative, we have to go out in the market, we have to build those things for our family, we have to build those things for the country. We've got to take a strong stance when it comes to technology and being dominant in that space and owning not just the hardware, but also the software and behind it. So with so many different things that we have to be ready and in position to take advantage of as we move into this next level of past the internet. I think this is the biggest jump that we've ever had since we've had the internet, technology wise. So we got to be in those positions, and Trump sees it. And I'm hoping that after these next 3 years, that this type of thinking stays within the Republican Party, Conservative Party. And I hope some Democrats actually come up to this thinking too, because slowly, if you don't embrace it, you're really selling out the country. You're selling it out.
Jerome, too late Powell, he's always too late. And he's very late with interest rates, except before the election, he was just fine for the other side. So we're going to have somebody that's great, and we hope he does the right job. Last week, the average 30-year mortgage rate dropped below 6% for the first time in many years. Another major factor in driving up housing costs was the mass invasion of our borders. And I have to say one thing about housing, because nobody ever says this. I am very protective of people that already own a house, of which we have millions and millions and millions. And because we have had such a good run, the house values have gone up tremendously. And these people have become wealthy. They weren't wealthy. They become wealthy because of their house. And every time you make it more and more and more affordable for somebody to buy a house cheaply, you're actually hurting the value of those houses, obviously, because the one thing works in tandem with the other. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt the value of people that own a house who, for the first time in their lives, are walking around the streets of whatever city they're in, very proud that their house is worth $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. Now, if I want to really crush the housing market, I could do that so fast and people could buy houses, but you would destroy a lot of people that already have houses. In some cases, they've mortgaged their house, and the mortgage would be very low, and all of a sudden the mortgage without any changes becomes very high, and they end up losing the house. I'm not going to hurt, and I speak with Scott, who's doing a fantastic job, and Howard, who's doing a fantastic job, and all of my people. And I always say, look, you know, I can crush the hell out of the market. We can drop interest rates to a level, and that's one thing we do want to do. That's natural. That's good for everybody. You know, the dropping of the interest rates, we should be paying a much lower interest rate than we are. We should be paying the lowest interest rate of any country in the world, because without the United States, you don't have a country.
And he's right. If we should be paying lower rates, especially since we're on the top of, what would you call it, the economic podium when it comes to all these other countries. They all follow us. They use the U.S. dollar, but yet we end up paying some of the highest rates. So he's not off with that.
I mean, I had a case with Switzerland. We happened to be in Switzerland. Maybe I'll give you a quick story. But they were paying nothing. They make beautiful watches, great watches, Rolex, all of them. They were paying nothing to the United States when they sent their product in. And we had a $41 billion deficit. 41 billion with this beautiful place. Flew over it, isn't it nice? So I said, let's put a 30% tariff on them so that we get back some of it, not all of it at all. We'd still have a deficit, big deficit. We had 41 million. That's a big deficit. And I said, let's put a tariff on. Different tariffs, different places. You're all party to them. In some cases, victims to them. But in the end, it's a fair thing. And most of you realize that. But we put a 30% tariff on Switzerland, and all hell broke loose. They were calling, I mean, like you wouldn't believe. And I know so many people from Switzerland, incredible place, incredible, brilliant place. But I didn't realize that they're only good because of us. And there's so many other examples. I mean, us and probably other places, but a majority of the money they make is because of us, because we never charged them anything. So they come in, they sell their watches, no tariffs, no nothing. They walk away, they make $41 billion on just us. So I said, no, we can't do that, so I'm going to bring it up. I'm still, without the United States, they wouldn't be making anything. Think of it, Switzerland made $41 billion on us. And as she said, it's a small place. And I realized with that, I don't know, it was so, because she was so aggressive. And I realized in that conversation that the United States is keeping the whole world afloat. Many places, I could give you 6, 7 places just in the people in this little area. I know every one of them. They're sort of, they're looking down. They don't want to see me and they don't want to stare me in the eyes. But they're taking advantage of, everybody took advantage of the United States. But I've been very fair, and I gave them a tariff, and it was fine. But I realized that without us, it's not Switzerland anymore. Without us, it's not any of the countries that are represented here.
Cool. So I'm not going to go too much into this anymore. Key point is that he's at the economic forum talking about this. He's serious about it. It's going to happen. Will it mean that buyers are able to find better properties? That can be true, depending on if it's structured right and if they do it. Buyers may get a chance now to take care of or take advantage of some of these resale markets, properties that hit the resale market. So, big news. That's very good. That's big for people. Some of you agents that are working with investors or institutional investors. I know we would get institutional investors sending their buy boxes all the time. And they're very picky. Sometimes they're very hard to work with. So to say that they are the number one cause of like a housing shortage, I don't know if that's the right thing to say. We got to keep in balance that institutional investors during 2008, 2009, I was in the market. They were responsible for bringing the market single-handedly from a place of bankruptcy, foreclosure, riddled with houses that people couldn't even get into. Some people can buy, some people couldn't. Institutional investors came in and made a lot of the purchases. Mom and pop investors, regular mid-side investors, and the institutional investors started to roll in after that. So they just may need to limit their run, limit their time, or limit how much in assets they can actually hold, which I think that is a better play, because you're not going to get a bunch of houses that are bought by these mainstream investors to rent out to people. And until the rates are down, income is up, or the value of the properties drop, very few people are going to be able to buy at the level that's necessary to sustain a strong buyer's market in America. And that's a fact. 18 years experience, I'm just telling you. We got to make those type of changes. Just cutting out institutional investors, that it just can't stop with that, you know. But I thought that was a very strong point. So, man, you know what? Donald Trump. Check this out. I like this one right here. Oh, man. I didn't expect this to be this side. Give me a second. I'm going to blow this up for you. I think I want to cover this one right now. Let's cover this one. Cover this one. Boom. Let's do this.
An emergency phone call made by President Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, is being used as evidence in a trial in the UK.
Barron Trump made the equivalent of a 911 call to British police around this time last year. The now 19-year-old told the operator a woman he knew was being assaulted in the UK and she needed immediate help. Let's bring in NBC News senior White House correspondent Garrett Haake. Garrett, there is clearly a lot of backstory to this case. Explain what we know so far and how exactly Barron Trump fits in here.
Yeah, we're learning some of that backstory as this case progresses, but Trump is serving by proxy here in the form of a phone transcript and some emails as a key witness to the alleged assault that took place here. This happened just days before his father was to be sworn in as president last January. And according to the transcript of the call presented in a British court, Trump and this woman, the alleged victim, whose name isn't given, are sort of called into a brief FaceTime call. Mr. Trump sees some element of this assault taking place and then appears to spend the next several minutes trying to figure out how to get a hold of emergency services in London. He ultimately does so.
Okay. What is Barron doing on the phone with a grown behind woman that's married, bro? Or got a boyfriend? What is Barron doing on the phone with her? I don't think we're going to find this out for years to come. Barron might be low-key a little pimp. Okay? When I say pimp, the dude's hecka smart. And I did this video before. Is Barron Trump a time traveler? I don't know. Okay? Because between him and his father, they're just showing up in the media in some very strong ways. And I think even with his brothers out there doing what they do, Barron has this polarizing personality that makes people say, oh, that's Barron Trump. One thing you can't take from Donald Trump, man, is he raised good children. People don't like it, but he has raised good children. So the way that he's done it, some of these Democrats could take a lesson from Barron, from his children. I mean, they're totally focused. They're on point. They're building their legacy. Because you can have money and still have children that are screw ups. You can. Look at Hunter Biden. Look at some of the other ones. Now, Hunter's a little different because you still have the Obama kids and all the other ones that have been doing pretty well. I mean, heck, you got George Bush. He became president after his father became president. So, but man, you got a bunch of them that are screw ups too. But going back to him, what was he doing on the phone with a grown lady, a grown woman?
Transcript here was provided by prosecutors in the UK. Here you can see Mr. Trump saying that it took him some time to get in touch with them and that he believes that this person is being beat up and that she needs help right away. He says it's an emergency. He gets somewhat heated by the tenor of the transcript here with the operator accusing Mr. Trump of being rude here when he doesn't answer specific questions about how he knows this woman. Ultimately, he says that he knows her from social media. There's some indication from court that they had known each other for quite some time, but this has all been read out in court now there in London.
And Garrett, has the Trump family or the White House on their behalf said anything about this case?
The White House has declined to comment. It's possible we might hear something from the family through the office of the First Lady, but so far no comment from them whatsoever yet. We're basically piecing this story together from reports inside the courtroom in the UK and this limited amount of evidence that's been released by the prosecutors there.
All right, Garrett Haake, thank you so much.
We thank you for watching.
Yeah. That's why I say there's something going on in that situation is more than what they talking about. But Barron Trump, to be on the phone with just a grown behind woman and to witness her being attacked and then I think it was cool him trying to get help out there. You can't take that away from him. I mean, that's an excellent thing. Excellent thing. I think for it to line up like that, he had some pre-knowledge of something concerning that situation. And he definitely knows her. And I guess we'll figure out one day how he actually knows her. I don't know. Shoot. Check this out. Okay. Man, I'm going to do this one on Cory Holcomb, and I'm going to drop this. Some video came out about Cory Holcomb, and I'm going to let you watch this video and determine for yourself. Has it been authenticated? It looks like it's authenticated because you can see the name and you can clearly see the face, Cory's face in this. Now, does this have anything to do with his beef with Anton? Meaning, all of a sudden you get this surfacing out the blue. Out the blue? Cory, we get a video of you doing this out the blue within days of what you did concerning Anton Daniels' wife and daughter. I'm going to let you guys check it out. You tell me what you think. Oh, yeah, by the way, no sound to this. This is not one of those things as a sound, but I'm going to make the screen bigger so you can actually see it. It's going to cover me up. Go ahead. Check it out. Female comedian right there. You see it. Oh, right there it stops. Boom. So that was Cory Holcomb. You can definitely see it was his face. I'm going to run that back again. Yes, that was Cory Holcomb. He walked up to that female comedian and he popped her across the face, bro. Smack across the face, homie. Like clear across the face. When I see this, this goes back. This actually explains why Cory was so tight and so tense. Girl, sit down over here. You don't get away when grown men talking. Let's continue watching this. Go ahead. Somebody gets in there. He starts to help the lady out, defending them against Cory. Him and Cory get into a scuffle. They're on the floor. Somebody else got kicked in the face. Somebody got a kick land right in his face. Smack. Yeah, now, look at that. Same female comedian right there on the side. And Cory's back up. He's in the mix. He's in front of her, trailing her. Boom. Check it out. You see? So now they're talking. Now they're going back and forth. Who? This is when Cory gets in her face. Boom. We see it. So pause on the track. If that guy didn't jump in there to help that lady, Cory would have smacked the crap out of her and probably hit her through with another one. Whatever the situation was, I don't know if it's allegedly or whatever the case is, but it was definitely an altercation. And homeboy got kicked on the ground. Look at his butt kicked in the face. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Hype. Thank you for the video. Is there some reason why this comes out right after Cory Holcomb? Right after he got into this beef with Anton? Tell me if you think that this is an orchestrated low-key attack. Probably driven by Anton Daniels. Somebody said, release the film, any dirt, I'll buy it. Hey, they did the same thing on a political side. They do it. Release the dirt. Newspaper companies, newspapers will bring out dirt on people. And before it goes out, somebody will buy it from them, or they'll buy the story from someone else to bring the dirt out. I don't think that this is coincidence. I was listening to Anton's live stream today, matter of fact, and he said, oh, it's not over. I just play different in the streets. Is this what he's talking about? Different than the streets? Because this is a different move. I mean, this is not the move that comes at you where we personally exchange words to words, but you have a video evidence of Cory Holcomb assaulting or hitting a woman. We don't know who the comedian is. Let's go back over here and look and see who this is. Christina Payne. Okay, hold on. Let's slow this down. Christina Payne. Comedian Christina Payne. I'm not familiar with Christina Payne. I mean, some of y'all might, if you're familiar with her, you let me know. Because I'm not familiar with her. Christina Payne. Christina Payne. Yeah, I see some videos of Christina Payne. Yeah. Her with Andre 3000. Oof. Comedian Cory Holcomb punches Christina Payne. TMZ on it. TMZ is on it. So this was published in 2024, but it's crazy how this is being resurfaced now. Right on the heels of his beef with Anton Daniels. Hey guys, you tell me if Anton did it. Did Anton do this? Did Anton cause that to happen? You let me know. I don't know. You let me know. All right, cool. I got some more videos I want to talk about. Let's go over to let's go over to the Black Panther Party. Man, you guys are neglecting for punishment. Okay. So the Black Panther, if you're not familiar, you know who the Black Panther Party is. If you're not familiar with who the Black Panther Party is, please do your research history in the 60s. Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, Oakland, California. Huey P. Newton and I forgot what's that. They formed the Black Panther Party. So, but we fast forward now. We've got the new Black Panther Party, and they were out here, and I did video of it. They were out there protesting in Minneapolis. They were ready, in Minnesota, and they were prepared to go stand with the rioters out there in Minnesota, because I guess the enemy is the friend, is my friend, and to them, the federal government is their enemy, I guess. So they decided to show up in Minnesota and back what was taking place in Minnesota, this rioting and craziness. But let's slow down. Slow your motion. Did the Heisman? Good. Hold on. I believe it's the niece of the Black Panther Party founder, Huey P. Newton, threatened to sue the group for using the name illegally. She said they don't have rights to use the name.
I'm going to try to make this video as calmly as possible. My name is Maisha Newton. My father's name was Walter Newton. He was the brother of Huey Percy Newton, who started the Black Panther Party in Oakland, California. Okay? My handle name is Maisha 415 Newton. If you don't believe me, we just came out with the second book, The Roots of the Revolutionary Suicide. This is the roots of Huey P. Newton, okay? That's my father, okay? These are our grandparents, okay? There go Huey right there, okay? I got birth certificate paperwork and a whole bunch of Newtons
police
who
and
are
ICE,
ready to...
we hold them accountable.
Listen,
we hold them
this
accountable.
goes out
We
to the
patrol the
Black
community and
Panther
we hold them
Party,
accountable.
United Black...
Okay, so we got two videos that's going over. She's talking, then where I clipped this from, they're letting him speak, so just bear with it. We got some more after this.
Whoever's out there protesting with these Somalians,
but we're a little more aggressive now.
I'm about to get a cease and desist order against you, and I'm about to sue you.
Places where there are a lot of immigrants at, I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them, and it needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE.
So that's the first video. She is a Republican. She claims to be a conservative Republican in California, working with Democrats, still involved in political in the grassroots movement and things like that. Believer, also Christian believer. If you go to her handle, her site, you'll see she's a Christian believer. She doesn't believe in race politics, political race game. She doesn't embrace that. She doesn't embrace the Democratic Party. She believes that they've manipulated the whole image of the Black Panther Party. And I was wondering, how is it that these guys in Philadelphia claim the name of the Black Panther Party for self-defense when they were started in Oakland, but they said they're the new Black Panther Party, and they say they are just starting and taking off where the previous Black Panther Party was. Okay, so let's go.
Memo to the public in regards to Maisha Newton. Huey's son, me, I cleared the Philadelphia chapter.
Okay, now, this is slowly becoming like gang related. Okay, really. Look, me. I cleared the Philadelphia chapter. The confusing part about this is that the founder, or the guy that you just saw in the video previously, who claims to be the head of the new Black Panther Party, he doesn't recognize it as a new chapter. He recognizes it as a new thing. When I say a new thing, meaning it's the Black Panther Party, but it's the new Black Panther Party. This is not a chapter like I'm over it. There are chapters, but I'm over it. He doesn't speak like anybody deemed him to be doing this. I'm pretty sure there was. So now we get this video, and he's claiming that he's responsible, and he's Huey P. Newton's son, responsible for this new Black Panther Party and this chapter in Philadelphia and them going out to the ICE raids. Okay, this is crazy. This is getting crazier. I'm gonna start it from the beginning so you see.
Memo to the public in regards to Maisha Newton. Huey's son, me, I cleared the Philadelphia chapter. Second, you don't have no power and authority to file any form of thing to sue anything. You can't sue anything. Now, third, if you want to sue something or you want to help sue something, have Frederica Newton, and my father, Dr. Huey P. Newton, fight this Alameda Superior County probate case that's scheduled on February the 2nd, 2026. That's what you worry about, because you ain't got no power to do nothing else. And if anybody was going to try to sue anything dealing with the Black Panthers, the only person that probably could try something like that is Frederica. She can't do it because the trademark wiped up. So you just on here just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, this memo is to Maisha Newton from me, Rico Cortez Duke, son of Dr. Huey P. Newton.
Oh, so this would technically make him her cousin, right? Because she is the niece of Huey P. Newton. So this is his son. She says she spoke to all the Newtons, and they're all in agreement that this new Black Panther Party leader stuff is just gassy. I apologize for the bad video. This was the only one I can claim. And honestly, do we really care? What I'm basically seeing is Negroes starting to fight over some history that and kind of dive it out like this is some gang related deal. I started the chapter. He looked like he starts chapters with gangs or frats or freaking organization. He looked like it. Now, I'm gonna say this once, and I'm only gonna say this once. These guys, I don't believe them. You guys can follow and chase them, but I believe the whole Black Panther Party thing has lived its course, and it ain't coming back. You tell me if I am right, if I'm wrong, you see something different. But I believe we saw the prime of the Black Panther Party, and the rest of this stuff is just cornball activity or trying to reclaim the old glory. Jokers won't be able to reclaim. All right. And I'm done with that. Now, 6-month-old tear gassed by ICE while the parents were, I guess, coming home from a game. I found a video on this, but I wanted to actually share some better, more precise insight concerning this, and I'm gonna tell you what I feel afterwards, okay? So it's two content creators. Yo, shout out to Jules, man. Great content creator. I'm going to put this out here, and you tell me when we're all said and done, is this legitimate or not?
I remember that family that was on their way home from basketball practice, and they said that ICE threw tear gas at their car, and it almost killed their 6-month-old baby. And then everybody said, see, told y'all black people was next. They targeting black people. Remember that? Look who was found at the protest an hour before their car was hit with tear gas. There go to mom. Just chilling. Didn't seem like they was just coming home from basketball practice and they happened to get caught on the street with ICE. Seemed to me like they part of the crowd. In the video, it was hard to spot the dad, but you can see in this picture right here that dad was in the same crowd. Now, what's crazy is that the point that I made was for the original story they told, which is now proven to be a lie, which was that, why are you stopping at a peaceful crowd with babies in the back seat when you know the block is hot? Because they said they stopped at the crowd and they saw the mother-in-law there, and next thing you know, ICE was in front of them and behind them, boxed them in, tear gas went off, baby couldn't breathe. Even with that story, I was like, why are you stopping at a crowd with a baby in the back seat? But now you telling me y'all was at this protest for a full hour with the kids in the car.
With the kids in the car. The video says it all, and I'm a believer, this is me. Most of the stuff that you guys are seeing concerning people that have either been attacked by ICE, I saw one with a Islamic lady, a Muslim lady. She was talking with the hijab on in a press conference on how ICE stopped her and called her the N-word. I'm going to leave it like that. I think these people are exaggerating or plain out lying. That's my opinion. You leave a comment, you tell me how you feel. Because when I looked at this incident and I started to look at the other incident, I was like, dang, this is real. They're literally trying to find sympathy with the masses for being attacked by ICE, or saying they've been attacked by ICE. So they're using it to find sympathy with the masses. I don't believe it's pure. I don't believe it's right. I don't believe it's anything other than some intentional move to either blow up and make things larger than what it was. And it's crazy that a black family would actually be in this like this. But hey, man, sometimes everybody need a shot at just their 5 minutes of fame. And I think this is their 5 minutes of fame that they're trying to capitalize.
It's far much worse than I thought. And I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I didn't even say they were lying. I just said, why would you stop at a crowd with children in the back? This video shows them chilling in that same crowd for an hour before the incident went down. Where were the kids then? Like, curious to know on what the other side thinks. The ones that were like, told y'all black people was next. They were targeted. I'm curious to know what y'all think about this. Don't forget, they allegedly came up with $200,000 with a GoFundMe. Allegedly. I'm curious to know what y'all think about this now. Even the fathers.
Dang, $200K on a GoFundMe? Yeah, this is a bag play like I've never seen, bro.
Responses to the news interview questions was off because they was like, where are your kids at now? And he was like, yeah, they headed to the hospital right now. They can't breathe. That's it. Your kids almost died and you sitting there talking about, yeah, I guess they headed there. Everybody in the comments like, please stop. He's in shock. Okay.
They were at the protest for almost an hour before their 6-month-old got pepper sprayed by ICE. And I have the video that can prove it. So Dispatch picked up this.
Shout out to the creator on this. You guys doing a great job.
Call at 9:22.
Forward to respond for now. On the corner of 23rd and Lindale Avenue North, we got a report of a baby that's been exposed to tear gas.
Now, keep in mind that the story is they weren't part of the protest. They were just trying to get home after a basketball game. But lo and behold, someone was recording at that protest. And look who they ran across. And the crazy thing about that clip and this clip is that they were posted around 8:30 p.m. Almost 1 hour before that call was made. That's a long time for someone that is just trying to get home.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 minutes of fame. That's all these people are reaching for. And you may say, Leon, but the baby got pepper sprayed. I have yet to believe like the entirety of that. And I'm going to tell you why. You can bring your children out for a protest and not consider the fact that they're going to get pepper sprayed. That alone should tell you that it's fraudulent. That alone should tell you it's fraudulent. You don't bring kids out to this, man. This is not that's not kid. If anything, you know what? I feel like they need to have charges brought against them. Somebody needs to do something about that because they're collecting GoFundMe money for a fraudulent claim that they were pepper sprayed. Their child was pepper sprayed. Now you say, yeah, their child was pepper sprayed. We can see the medical report. The problem I have with that is your child should never have been there. Oh, no. Your child should never have been there. If your child wasn't there, we wouldn't have this conversation. Who brings their child to a protest and then claims the child who is not an adult, who can't handle himself in the middle of all that crowd, who's dependent on you? This should be child abuse, if anything else. So if you guys are for the children, be for the parents being accountable for the children. Because sometimes, a lot of times, man, some instances where children could have been prevented by the parents just being watchful. We know things happen and kids get caught out and they do what they want to do. Sometimes even as little kids, 9 years old, 10 years old, they can run. I've seen kids run out from the parent in a parking lot. I'm like, the car coming. I've even had to stop people. Hold on. Don't close that. His son's hand is right there. It was about to close the sky cap, about to close the freaking trunk on the kid's hand. All these things, the father wasn't paying attention. It is our responsibility as parents to actually take care of our children. I don't believe that they are taking care of your children. I don't believe that. And I've seen enough people trying to get through some of these protests in their cars that don't want to get out. So the pepper spray doesn't get in.
Now, I'm not saying that they were part of the protest, but to be passing by for an hour and then use what happened, and don't get me wrong, I feel for that 6-month-old and the 2 other kids that were exposed to the pepper spray, but to use that and turn around and get almost $200,000 in a GoFundMe account because your story doesn't fit what potentially happened? That don't sound like responsible people bringing your kids, one of them 6 months old, to a protest that has been known to get violent. And while you're out there for almost an hour, your kids are where exactly? They're back in the car by themselves at 9 o'clock with violence in the street? I am so glad that they were able to bring your child back to life. But it don't look right.
It don't look right because they wasn't supposed to be there. They wasn't supposed to be there. And I think it's more of a con when they take the fact that they wasn't supposed to be there and they were there. When I say they, I mean that the child wasn't supposed to be there. And they do use the situation of the child being there to manipulate people out of money. Or low key, are you just getting paid by the Soros Foundation or one of these groups because now you're doing exactly what they want, which is to show more victims of ICE out here than ICE helping people? I don't know. You leave your comment. You tell me what you think. I think it was all staged. There's plenty other instances. Now, I'm not going to say that ICE doesn't get anything wrong. That's crazy to even say that. But I believe there is, not just can, there is a level of intentional malice and destruction and harm that is being put in ICE's way, so they can now be responsible for some of this, and is meant to design and is designed to gain the sympathy of the masses. If I'm wrong, you tell me. You let me know. Okay, you let me know. If I'm wrong, tell me. Let's go to this one right here. Run it.
Now to Chicago's West Side. Pastors and homeowners there say they're being hit with property tax increases so steep they could push families out of their homes. Bills have doubled, even tripled, with the West Garfield Park neighborhood seeing a 133% spike. NBC5's Christian Farr has their story.
I've had to go out and hustle, put my life on the line, drive an Uber just to pay my property tax.
Many Westside residents and clergy gathered outside of the Cook County Assessor's Office to express outrage after their property tax bills skyrocketed. Business owner Malcolm Crawford said his bill more than doubled.
It's just a few bills that I got, and this one is $11,000. This one is $12,000. The other ones are $7,000, and I have more. And with these, and I'm supposed to come up with this money by the 15th.
You have the poorest people in the poorest neighborhood.
Now, let me stop. See this clown right here? He was one of those pastors that were out there in front of Trump Towers in Chicago, or Trump Building in Chicago, protesting that the reason for these high tax rates were Donald Trump. The most ignorant and stupid thing I've ever heard, knowing that Chicago has pushed out more businesses from their downtown area than, it is insane. And why is that important? Because the commercial buildings and businesses downtown of most of these metropolitans actually carry a lot of the tax burden for the city that in that area. So I think it's the most stupidest thing that he said. And it's funny that they're using him because, back again, just like the lady with the family, with the toddler that got pepper sprayed by ICE, they stopped the car. This is his 5 minutes of fame. This is really what it is. His 5 minutes where we should be talking about solutions, but he's pointing the finger. He should be pointing the finger at Brandon Johnson. He should be pointing the finger at the people downtown in Chicago. Because, listen, I got a cousin that lives in Chicago. I have no desire to go from Atlanta to Chicago and hang out in Chicago. Chicago's a beautiful place. But how can I go when the crime is unkept, the prices are high, and damn, there ain't no real businesses to go down to? And Chicago is a beautiful place. All the pictures I've seen in Chicago, I'm like, man, I want to go up there and check it out for a little bit and hang out for a day or two. Stupid.
With the largest increase.
The Reverend Marshall Hatch and others say communities like West Garfield Park face a 133% increase in their property taxes. Last month, the Cook County Treasurer's Office confirmed that this would be the largest property tax increase in 30 years.
We are just as upset and believe that it's unjust that the Board of Review continues to shift on the burden to homeowners in particular by giving large reductions and breaks to commercial businesses in the Loop.
The assessor's office is pointing the finger at the Cook County Board of Review, which hears property tax appeals. But at least one of its commissioners says the assessor's recent increases are overreaching.
He's over-assessed those properties, and he can lower them. He's done it for the northern suburbs, and he can do it for West Garfield Park, Lawndale, and other African-American communities.
The people who review those assessments, they need to come together and give blanket relief for the communities that are being disabused the most.
On the West Side, Christian Farr, NBC5 News.
Whoa.
Chicago alders have rejected Mayor Brandon Johnson's controversial corporate head tax, but the mayor says his fight is just beginning.
WGN political reporter Tamon Bradley is live outside City Hall right now, where both sides are digging in their heels. And Tamon, the big question is, where do we go from here? How do we get this resolved?
listen, if you're listening to this and you're from Chicago, Cook County, y'all should be doing everything humanly possible when this next election comes around not to vote this clown back in. Because this clown is going to, your mayor is going to be backed financially very, very strong by the left. And if you do not, as a community, come out and have your vote known, it's going to persist. Don't take the stance of this is a black thing and they're targeting our community. You got to realize this is much bigger than a black thing. This is actually for the life and blood of your community and your generational wealth. The legacy of transferring properties to your children. The only way this happens is if you take this guy out of office and then begin to make Chicago not a sanctuary haven city for illegal migrants, but a city that actually gives back to its people. A city that actually is dope to be in. A city that recognizes that it needs businesses to grow, and not just any businesses, but to be leading that area when it comes to Fortune 500 companies that can expand what Chicago's blueprint, that can put Chicago on the map. Right now, Chicago is a clown show, bro. It's a clown show. There's always been talk, and I've seen it in the real estate space, of Chicago holding back investors from investing, fixing, and flipping, wholesalers from finding deals and selling them, from actual profit taking place. And I've seen more than enough real estate agents talk about how crazy and devastated the downtown Chicago is and how it's affecting empty stores and buildings just sitting down there. This is the fault of the people who voted, who allowed him to stay in office so far. And it's going to be your fault if you do not get him out of office moving forward.
Lourdes and Ray, good evening. The mayor's hand-picked finance chair who opposed the mayor's tax package tried to bail him out. She tried to delay today's vote, but the alders wanted to have it. They wanted to say no to the mayor's plan. Today, a stunning defeat. The City Council Finance Committee rejected Mayor Brandon Johnson's Tax the Rich revenue proposal, resetting budget negotiations.
The prevailing side has bought some time for taxpayers in the city of Chicago so the mayor can go back and get this right.
So keep in mind, when it says tax the rich is anybody that owns property. That's really what the rich is, because they're the ones that's being taxed. Not the people that's on the north side, not this split when y'all say, hey, yeah, this is, they're coming after black neighborhoods. No, they're coming after anyone who owns property to subsidize the migrant influx that Chicago has to now take care of, which is, I think, close to 300 million, 400 million. I may be wrong. You tell me.
They start accepting the fact that there are solutions on the table. We have to stand up and push back against this budget.
We have to have a balanced approach to this. And what we've done so far hasn't been it, and now the real work begins.
10 alders voted in favor of the plan, 25 against it, including the mayor's hand-picked finance chair, Alderwoman Pat Dow. The vote was reminiscent of last year's 50-0 council roll call rejecting the mayor's $300 million property tax hike. After today's vote, Mayor Johnson called for a timeout, a recess until the first week of December. But the mayor said he's not backing down in his push for progressive revenue.
There are two options here. We challenge these big corporations and the ultra-rich to put more skin in the game, or you ask people who are standing in line for bread, milk, and food.
You've already ran out the ultra-rich. They're not building businesses in downtown Chicago. This guy is a clown, and I'm telling you, the clownest as you can get.
And clothing, ask them to put more skin in the game.
The Johnson administration lobbied hard over the weekend, even this morning, but they failed to convince alders to sign off on reviving a corporate head tax. Also shot down today, the mayor's plan to borrow $1.8 billion, the bulk of which would have been used on capital projects.
You can't just be a no. You have to find ways to actually come up with solutions so that we can actually have a real debate.
The mayor
I wonder how much of that 1.8 was actually going to be development for illegal migrants. I wonder that. That's what I'm
Says he
wondering.
wants alders to bring him revenue ideas, but he'll veto a property tax increase, a grocery tax, or a hike in the garbage collection fee.
I've done my part. I've done my part. The real question should be, what else can these alders who oppose challenging these big corporations to put more skin in the game? The question is, what can they do?
Where the mayor and alders go from here is anybody's guess. Those alders opposed to the head tax say that they want it to go away. They hope that it's dead. The mayor, though, says he's going to push forward with it. The council has until the end of the year to pass a budget. Live tonight from City Hall, Tamon Bradley, WGN News.
Okay, Tamon, we'll see what happens.
Man, pray for Chicago. They need it out there. Y'all need a lot of help. That's a lot to deal with. And I can't even tell you how long this shit is going to take. Oh, dude. So let's go over to this fraud happened in Minnesota. When I saw this report, I saw the kingpin of of this feed the children. There's a feed the children. Oh, let me run this real quick. Check it out.
The Trump administration, in part, has justified the immigration crackdown in Minnesota by citing fraud involving members of the state's Somali community. Prosecutors have charged 78 people in the biggest scheme, a $250 million COVID-era plot to defraud a program that was supposed to feed hungry children. But the woman they describe as the mastermind is not Somalian. She gave an exclusive interview behind bars to our Jonah Kaplan.
As tensions spiked over the administration's immigration crackdown, we spoke with Amy Bach from her Minnesota jail cell. To what extent do you feel responsible for what's going on?
I feel guilt about every piece of this.
And I bet she does. I mean, shoot, you facing a good stretch. And after you do your stretch, I know you're going to come out with your secret bag that was hidden. So I'm sure she felt it. And they're asking the right question. She's not Somalian. If anything, she's on the other side. I think she's probably like the women that were standing around what's her name? Ilhan Omar, when she was trying to go down to the ICE detention center. Just white liberal women, you know. Her case, she got the bag. And now I guess they're trying to say she's responsible for it. Not these daycare centers that Nick Shirley pulled out. She's the one who's been the mastermind and that's responsible.
Wish more than anything that I could go back and change things.
Fraud has been the pretext for the administration's Minnesota pressure campaign. And prosecutors say there is no bigger fraudster than Amy Bach.
Amy Bach masterminded a $250 million fraud scheme.
Her now infamous nonprofit, Feeding Our Future, signed up restaurants and caterers, many from Minnesota's large Somali community, to receive taxpayer money for feeding hungry kids.
The community deserves this. The children need this.
While Bach...
So they're trying to say that she's the reason why those guys walked into that situation, or Somalians, they shouldn't have been there. It's really her fault. She did it.
Attorney provided this video showing stacks of food. Prosecutors say Bach and the businesses she recruited stole millions, spending it on luxury cars, real estate ventures, and vacations. In 2019, Feeding Our Future submitted $3 million worth of meal claims. 2 years later, it submitted nearly $200 million. All of a sudden, you're cutting $200 million worth of checks. How do you not see that as major red flags and keep this going?
We relied on the state. We told the state, this site is going to operate at this address, this day, this time, and this number of children. The state would then tell us that's approved.
In text messages revealed in court, she compared Feeding Our Future to the mob. Are you a mob boss?
Absolutely not. No.
Were you personally benefiting from any of it?
I collected my salary, and that was all that was collected.
Didn't federal agents find gold jewelry, cash in your closet?
They found minimal jewelry. I believe it was like 2 pair of earrings, a bracelet, a watch. There was some cash there.
Do you believe? Now, I thought she was actually giving more of the goods, and she was good. No. It was 2 earrings, a watch, a couple dollars. That's it. They're basically, she's saying that they're framing her. But this is the deeper part to this story. You got to realize everybody knew about this since 2019, and they were just asking for more and more money. You mean to tell me that the governor didn't know? You mean to tell me Ilhan Omar didn't know? You mean to tell me that there was no red flags whatsoever?
Trial, Bach took the stand, but the jury didn't buy her story. Within hours, they convicted her on all counts. Last month, a judge ordered Bach to forfeit more than $5 million in assets, proceeds that she made from the fraud. She's currently awaiting sentencing and faces up to 33 years in prison. Tony?
Jonah?
Ooh. So, look at this. They can't ask you to forfeit money that's $5 million that you don't have. You said that they walked up in there and they only found minimal earrings and stuff like that and a little bit of money. So you just collected your salary. But the crazy part about it is if you just collected your salary, why are they asking you to fork over $5 million or forfeit $5 million? You definitely bought some houses. You definitely probably took some trips and some other things like that. Guys, the reality of it right now, I'm telling you, is that some of these liberal white women are actually taking an L. You guys are going to take this L. Is no way to fight it. But the saddest part about this is that there are people that actually needed this, dude. This is the craziest part. There are people that actually really needed this. And the saga of fraud in Minnesota continues to grow. From the suitcases that were flying over the water years ago in 2000 and what? 19, 16, 17, not a brand new thing. She just started this in 2019. They've been doing this way before 2019. They were actually doing this, and they have it. Their own news station in Minnesota covered this in 2016, that the suitcases were going over the water to Somalia. Sad she got to take this L, but she got to take the L, I guess, right? But don't be deceived, guys. Don't think that this woman just ran out and just did this. Nah. Don't think that it is. Don't think that it is. Oh. Let's do this one because I can't deal with this other story I really wanted to do, man. It was about, I can't. It's just too sad. It's too hard, you know? A father like me, it's just too much. At least not right now. Let me get worked off on some Don Lemon. Don Lemonade. The Le Mignon. That's even better. We got to go with Don Lemon. So if you don't know, Don Lemon was one of the ones who ran up in the church, right? Let's go over Don's run up in the church first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what Don had to say about it. Then we're going to go into what some people got to say about it, Don. Don, they don't like you, bro. Like you got.
This is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere. They don't expect us to come there, and then we disrupt business as usual.
So right now it's kind of mayhem. We're not part of the activists, but we're here just reporting on them.
Okay, so this is the church. I'm sure the video's out there. A lot of people have seen this video. Don is slowly walking through the church, supposedly interviewing these people, okay? And talking to the pastors, talking to the other churchgoers or congregants, and they're sharing their opinions with Don.
There's a varying array of views in this church on politics of immigration. Recognize the complexity of the issue.
This shows you just how divided America is. When you look at the protesters here, and then you look at the people there who are praying, and you know what was the interesting thing? If these two groups could just get together, they might figure out what to do.
I don't necessarily agree with everything that's going on in the Twin Cities right now, but I don't think it's good to fight fire with fire. I think it's good to speak up. I think it's good to protest, but I think it's better to do it in a peaceful way.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch. This guy.
Woo. So Don goes there, does the whole show boots on the ground. And you know, I've heard it said that Don is really growing his brand. And I'm gonna tell you, this is my opinion of what Don did. Don, definitely as a media guy, should not have been in a place where they didn't want him. I didn't see Don in any of that videos ask the pastor, is it okay if we speak concerning what's taking place right now? Didn't see it. The pastor felt like he had to continue the conversation because, look, he got his constituents. And I'm pretty sure you do have some people that they agree with some things and they disagree with some other things. So he's being a pastor, a shepherd of the sheep, recognizing the needs of all the people and that you got people with different opinions, but those people are there and they're actively worship. Now, was Don in the right or the wrong? Was Don being a slime bucket and taking and being opportunistic and jumping in there and say, oh, well, I'm just going to follow them through the door. We already saw he was interviewing them in the parking lot before they went in, interviewing them afterwards. Don, I don't see any other media people out there except for you. And that's the part that makes me nervous. The part that made me nervous more about Don's whole deal was that if it was something that was really planned, then there would be no media people. People would just have videos of their thing. But Don was hanging with these people. I think it's meditated. They had to have told Don, we're going over here. We're going to roll up on these jokers in the church. And we're going to let them know that Jesus wants immigrants to stay in the U.S. Jesus wants these immigrants to stay right here. And Don, we want you to videotape this whole thing, and we're giving you inside. Because go back to this. The BLM, what was her, the lady who was
this is an operation that is secret, right? That they invited folks out.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation.
There she is right there.
So right now it's kind of made. So
they don't expect us to come there.
They don't expect us to come there. Don, you coming with us. She reached out to you, Don. Admit it. And Don, you decided to come. So Don, that's what makes you in the position right now, being conspiring to violate the rights of those who are trying to actually worship in peace. We don't care when we walk into the place of worship, Don. You got to realize, you said you're
just getting breaking.
But I don't believe Don is a Christian. I believe Don wants to be a Christian. I don't, I've told people before, you ain't a Christian. You don't spend time with God. You don't even know him. You have no knowledge of him. Because look at the stuff that you do. So Don, I believe Don knew that they were going there. I believe they just didn't target the place, but they actually called Don in. So when Don gets charges, don't cry for Don.
News here that Don Lemon has been charged. I'm looking into it, but he was not the first.
He was not the first. I think they'll probably have a good case on him.
I mean, he was in it.
He was, and he was cheering it on.
And he tried to hide behind his journalistic. Okay, breaking. Trump Justice Department charges journalist Don Lemon along with 7 others over church protests aimed at ICE. Let's see here, ICE agent.
Yeah.
Wow, there it is.
Even if he's not convicted, guys, even if he's not convicted, the process is the punishment, the legal fees, the worrying at night about the charges that you're facing and the potential jail terms. So even if Lemon doesn't get convicted, whatever. It's sort of it's like the same thing with James Comey and Letitia James. Sure, those indictments were thrown out, but hey, at least we put them through some sort of process punishment.
So the cruelty is the point. And you guys, people who sit around and listen to that garbage, that shit all day, not based in fact, it's just pure far right-wing bigoted ideology. I can see it's toxic. I can see why people are so angry. If you consume that all day, you'll be angry and aggrieved too for no reason. Now it's wrong. Now is that a Richard Jewell kind of thing here for me? Because they reported on it for a good long time, and that's probably still online. I wonder if they fixed it. And I wonder if Scott Jennings fixed it. I wonder if he apologized. But for a good long time, my attorneys were sitting here watching because there was a clip that showed up online from the Charlie Kirk show, and they were like, what the hell is going on with this? So I expect an apology.
Well, it's not too much to apologize for. Don Lemon was charged, but the judge rejected to sign the charges against Don Lemon. Minnesota magistrate judge rejects charges against Don Lemon over anti-ICE protests. Some charges for 2 other protesters also. The Minnesota federal judge refused to sign a complaint charging independent journalist Don Lemon in connection with a protest inside a church in St. Paul on Sunday. Multiple sources familiar with the proceedings told CBS. The attorney general is enraged at the magistrate's decision, said a source familiar with the matter. Attorney General Pam Bondi has been in Minnesota for 2 days as the Justice Department has sought to surge prosecutorial and law enforcement resources there. A different source stressed that the process is not over and the Justice Department could find other avenues to charge Lemon. The problem is that nobody else reporting for any other news channel was there. We have footage for Don, and then we have footage for people with phones. Now, I keep saying it's got to be premeditated because no other news sources were showed up. We haven't seen any video from any news sources. I haven't. If you have, let me know. Send it to me. Leave a comment. Leave the link in there. I'll share it and take a look at it. But I'm pretty much convinced right now that Don knew they were going. She reached out to Don, told Don, and Don showed up. Now, this is a freebie. Is that now some type? Is that intentional, premeditated, conspiratorial? I don't know. Premeditated. I don't know if it's premeditated. I'm not an attorney. I don't know. ChatGPT does my attorney conversations. I asked ChatGPT, "What do you think about this?" And it will tell me. Don't call them. You don't worry about that. Get yourself an attorney. But Don, you're not. People don't like you right now. But, this is the thing I do recognize. If you go to Don Lemon's page, he's got 1 million followers, I think, on YouTube and like 2 on TikTok. Don is doing something which is smart. Yeah, I said smart. He's going back to the content creating game, boots on the ground, showing up in places that you would least likely think of. You normally would think that a news company, national news network would actually show up down there and do that. But you have Don Lemon down in Minnesota or popping up on the street corners talking to people, okay? And doing like the man on the street type of deal. I think for somebody that was clipped by a major news network, this is a great play. It's great to build your brand. Do I like his brand? No. Okay, let's be 100% clear. But I can't negate the fact, I can't go over the fact that Nick Shirley showed up and did this, and now you got a Don Lemon showing up, and he's doing this, boots on the ground. Just the complete opposite. Nick Shirley showed up and went from daycare to business in different places. Now you're seeing a lot of other content creators showing up down there. I think personally it's probably the most dangerous place for content creators to be right now. Oh no. And who cares, right? They're going to come at you for something anyhow. It doesn't matter, okay? But Don is Don.
Let me tell you something. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ first, always. But when you come after him, when you attack him, you're asking for the Peter in me to come out. That's what you're asking for. You're asking for the parts that he's still working on me to come out.
So if you don't know, Peter was the one who jumped up and said, "Laura, who we got to go kill?" In the garden, he was the one with the knife, ripping off the ear of the servant of the high priest. What's next, Jesus? Where are we going? Yeah, that's a Christian personality. It's a lot. It's a lot of us out here. We've been renewed, changed, brand new spirits, but our minds are catching up and keeping up with it. Can't you tell? I cut sometimes. I still got to hold back. He loved me though.
Because what I'm not going to accept from this world is you disrespecting Jesus, is you disrespecting my faith, is you disrespecting God. And Don Lemonhead, you claim that you're a Christian, you claim that you follow Jesus, but Jesus, if you did, the Holy Spirit would have gave you that discernment, and you wouldn't have been in that church. You would have been nowhere near that church. You wouldn't have been nowhere near that protest. Actually, if you are a real follower of Jesus Christ, if you really do have the Holy Spirit, then the Holy Spirit will give you discernment on the things that's going on now. The Holy Spirit will tell you, don't interfere with law enforcement, because it says it in the Bible. It tells us that we are supposed to abide by the law. It says that, but no, you're not a real Christian. It says that we're going to be experiencing these things that are happening now. So you can't tell me that you're a real Christian and you're against what's going on. You can't tell me that you're a real Christian and you're sitting here bombarding churches, trying to make your point relevant for a woman who was clearly defying law and order. What you're not going to do is disrespect my faith. That's what you're not going to do. You're not going to disrespect my God. And if you want to say, oh, how can you be a Christian and be this angry? It's a righteous anger. And the Bible speaks on that. If you were a real Christian, if you actually were reading your word, you would know that there's nothing wrong with my demeanor right now. Actually, I'm sitting here and my demeanor is actually pretty calm, pretty cool for what you really need. You really need God to come down here and just smack you behind. That's what you need.
Whoa, sis. Whoa. I don't want to have to blink that out. You know, when I go back in the edit. Whoa.
I'm pissed off. I'm sick of it. You would not go into a mosque and do that. Man, that's the thing. So you have more respect for a false God than you do our actual Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for our Father, our Holy Spirit. The world needs to get right. You need to get it together. That's what you need to do. Because I'm not about to deal with it. You're going to hear my voice every time. You hear me? Every time.
Oh, there you got it. There you got it. So, Don Lemon, Christians have spoken. I don't think they really think you're a Christian. Matter of fact, they believe by your actions, you'll probably side with the Antichrist on this. Why? You're running up in the churches, Don. And real talk, she's not wrong, because they wouldn't do it to mosques. They wouldn't do it to synagogues. They find our freedom and liberty as a Christian as the opportunity to use. They see that as an opportunity to use it against us. It's no different than the country, bro. No different. The same freedoms and liberties that we have as Americans are actually being used against us. Same thing as a believer, the same freedoms and liberties that you have as a believer. Guess what? The devil is the persecutor of the brother. I think she gave Don a good piece of her mind. Now, you tell me what you think about it. Leave your comments. I will listen to it. I've heard people to just plain out want to just gut me. Y'all plain out just want to just gut me. Y'all just mad. They're like, what are you talking about? Don was supposed to be there. Don the Lemon. He was supposed to be there. Hey, man, I'm going to end this right here. Guys, like, subscribe, follow. I said I'm going to keep my streams down to an hour and a half, and I'm at that hour and a half pinnacle. I appreciate it. Much love out. Remember, Jesus is Lord. He loves you. And live. Don't just talk about it. Live in what he completed and what he did on the cross. Guys, you have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next video.